Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Ramon, and as you guys can see, I chose the multimedia option. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just over typing this year, so I tend to do better verbally anyways, so let's go ahead and get into this section. In this section, I'm going to be talking about developing as a professional educator, and we're going to go step by step, just as the prompt says. So, first question is for me to look back at my ILP and did I achieve this goal this year? So, looking at my ILP, most of my ILP goal this year, honestly, was to work on differentiating instruction for different students and different learners. In my community, we have a lot of English language learners, specifically Spanish speakers. So, one of my main goals was to be working on learning Spanish, obviously, but then again, finding better ways to communicate, whether it's using staff or other people to help me get my message across, or students. A lot of my students have taught me so much this year with just basic Spanish. So that was my ILP goal. I wouldn't say I was able to achieve it fully in this year, which kind of leads into the next section, which is talking about a goal that I have beyond induction. So one of my main goals, like I said, was I want to learn Spanish. I think that would probably be the single most thing in my community to set me forth and elevate my ability to educate our clientele and our students. So that is honestly my overarching goal. That'll probably take me many years, but that's something I'm very committed to. It also asks me to compare and contrast my beginning stage on the CSTPs and my final stages after the assessment. So most of my growth this year obviously was learning more technology, using different avenues for that, and then also a lot of my CSTPs and my inquiries were based off of taking care of myself. As weird as that sounds, I mean, I'm a firm believer is if you don't take care of yourself, you can't provide a great quality education for others. So this year, I was really focusing on my mental health, my physical health, and then also the students' mental and physical health. As we know, and many educators, grades didn't necessarily go out the window this year, but they don't really reflect our students' true knowledge. So, with that, I've realized at the beginning of the year, well, if I'm not going to get as high quality of work, or as students are going to struggle through this year, maybe I can focus more on the relational and social emotional learning aspect. So that was my goal, and I definitely think I achieved great lengths on that goal. But again, it's not over. Every year you get better and better, and my goal is to continue moving in that direction. So, what actions will I take to achieve the goal I mentioned? So, one of the main things I'm actually going to do is I have a really good friend who lives in Mexico. He plays professional baseball down there. So, my goal was to almost do like a little sabbatical, or take a few months and just move down there so I could learn through immersion. So, that is one of the major actions I'm taking in that in achieving that goal. So, what actions can I take to remain a connected educator throughout my career? Well, kind of what I mentioned earlier, right? So, I really love the community I live in. I grew up here. And one of the main things that keeps me motivated in the educational field is having passions and hobbies outside of education. So, I'm really into farming, I'm really into gardening, I'm obviously into skateboarding, video games. I do a lot of things that help get my mind off of my normal job and my career. And I think that helps recharge me. And then again, I work on relationships. So at the end of the day, I know in middle school grades are definitely important, but at the end of the day, they don't matter as much as they do in high school. So I think as an educator in middle school, one of my main goals is to connect with students, make sure that they believe in themselves, make sure they understand I believe in them, their parents believe in them, and that they can become better human beings. So it's a very easy goal to say, but it's a hard goal to follow through with. So, what can I do personally and professionally to sustain the energy? I just mentioned that. Yeah, and any advice for new teachers? That's the last bit. So, advice for new teachers, I would say the most important advice I ever got from somebody else was one of the single best things you could teach a kid is responsibility. Kids obviously shouldn't have as much responsibility as adults, but you can start to educate them on what their responsibilities are. So I tell my students all the time, your responsibility right now as a student is to show up to school on time, come ready to learn, and try your best. I mean, there's not much else that we expect from kids, but I try to really let them know that their responsibilities are going to directly affect the opportunities they have in this life. So I would say, as a new teacher, work on relationships the first year. Yeah, you're going to be stressed about standards. Yeah, you're going to be stressed about teaching them and differentiating and whatnot. But at the end of the day, our job is to care and to connect and to build these students up. So don't take it too hard on yourself if you're not doing the best in your opinion. A lot of the times, kids just, honestly, they just want to feel loved and feel like they belong. So hopefully that helps. Thank you guys for watching. Tried to keep it short, answered all the questions. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you guys have a wonderful summer.